We're on page 1 of the prologue, and I'm already checking the back for the acknowledgments thinking, was there an editor? Today we're going to talk about a dark romance book that is so terribly written, I had to make room in my phone for all of these screenshots of it that I was sending to my friends. Buckle up. Hi, my name's Rachel, and today we're talking about When the Wicked Play by Tristina Brockway. Remember all those episodes of Pretty Little Liars where one character or another or 2 or 7 would end up in asylums and you're wondering, how is any of this plausible? This is ridiculous. It's so bad that I'm honestly having fun at its expense, and you only watch to laugh at it. This is like that, except 1,000 times worse and not at all funny. And just like Pretty Little Liars, I finished it, but at what cost? Our main character in this book is Charlie, and she grew up in an asylum. Her mother was a patient, and Charlie knew nothing of the world outside until she wakes up buried alive, and like Buffy in season 6 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, crawls out of a grave into a dark, cold world where she finds a teacup multi-poo and a man with a spider tattoo.
Spider-Man used to make me feel safe. Now I'm afraid to walk home from work.
And then she wanders around for a bit before plotting a bloody revenge, which I'm putting in quotes because the book did. This book has lines like, "Not much shocks me in this world. I'm not really an optimist or a pessimist. I don't really do glass half empty or half full. I choose option C. Break that f***ing glass and empty that yourself." Riveting. This book tried, not its best, but it tried to be a suspense romance book, and it came off like this.
Oh, I'm edgy. I'm on fire.
Liberty, you're about as edgy as a butter knife.
This book is like the equivalent of that time period in about 2008, 2009, where we were posting edgy lyrics on our MySpace pages after we straightened our scene hair. It's not like this couldn't have been written as something dark and suspenseful and, I don't know, actually interesting and writing on a line level that actually, made sense and sounded like a human being. But it was not that. It needed some assistance in those departments. You need assistance in those departments. You can get that help with today's sponsor, which is Skillshare. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives with a wide variety of topics for you to be able to learn about and take your hobby or your side hustle to the next level. They have illustration and cooking, productivity, video editing, and yes, they have classes on writing. There's 2 classes that I had in mind while reviewing this book that I've taken through Skillshare. First, you need to have the basics of a story to have a good story. Daniel Jose Older has a great class on the 4 C's of storytelling on Skillshare. The 4 C's are characters, context, conflict, and craft. This particular class really helps me review books, but it helps authors write books. His teachings could have saved this book from being a pile of nonsense. He teaches you the foundation of the story, the 4 pillars that hold up a good book, teach you to keep the book from falling apart. This is foundational in my reviews now. And the other class that is really helpful for me in specifically suspenseful stories that like this should have been theoretically, I would recommend in that case this class from Benjamin Percy that I took, How to Write Suspense Stories That Thrill in Any Genre. Percy has written Batman comics, so I trust him to help me better understand the aspects of writing darker, more suspenseful human stories. He explains tools like using temporary blindness and triangulation in order to get your audience really feeling the suspense. That's where today's book falls apart, is it didn't use any tools to amp up the actual suspense elements. It just dumped dark things in your lap, hoping you would feel suspenseful. If you feel like you're writing something like that, you can take the tools that you learned from this class and wield the tools properly so that you don't have a story that just has thrills that feel like clownery. But it's not just writing. You can find a class on Skillshare that will teach you the skills to master whatever craft you're trying to work at, be it a hobby or for your work. The first 500 people to click my link below or use the QR code will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. You can get started today, find the key to writing a suspenseful story, or learn something a little more chill like watercolor painting or how to work with sourdough or do video editing like I do here. You can learn all of that with Skillshare. So click the link below to get started today, and thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. So I found this book on Goodreads and I was like, oh my gosh, another dark romance book with a skull on the cover? Count me in for some reason. As Salem from Sabrina the Teenage Witch says, I'm a cat, I'm a curious, what? I'm a cat, I'm curious, so kill me. Right, Artemis? The baby. She's a pretty girl. You need to stop with your distractions. Inappropriate. So I didn't know anything about this going in. I just went in. And I do this all the time. Like, people are like, why did you read this if you thought you were gonna hate it? I don't know that I'm gonna hate anything. I opened up Bull Moon Rising recently and thought, oh, this beginning is pretty rough. This is nodding, which is not my thing, but I can find stuff that I like in any book, especially if it's well written, right? And guess what? I gave Bull Moon Rising 4 stars. I almost gave it 5 if it weren't for the cowman acting like a fuckboy at one point and not apologizing for it. I liked that book and I didn't know what was going to happen when I opened it. And then when I opened it, it wasn't going well. Like, it really depends on what you're doing and how you're doing it. Again, 4 C's of storytelling. If you nail even 3 out of the 4 C's, I could like your book. If you would nail even 2, actually, out of the 4 C's, I might like your book. If you can nail craft, you can string a sentence together, especially if it sounds good, especially if it hits emotionally, and you have good characters. Even if your conflict kind of falls apart and your context, so like your world building feels a little wonky, I could still give a book 4 stars. It really just depends on what you do. So when I open a random book, it could go either way. And I like going into things blind so that I don't know all the specifics. All I'm really gonna know when I open a dark romance book is this is probably gonna do some stabby stuff, maybe a little gore, maybe a lot of gore. There might be some essay in it, so I'm gonna need to be careful about that. I try to read trigger warnings if there are any, but I didn't go into this thinking I would hate it. I had absolutely no idea what I was going to get into when I opened it, and that goes for every book. I guess I don't really know anything about this author, so maybe just in case she has a following, I should do the disclaimer. If you are the author or a friend of the author or a big fan of the author and you don't like rant reviews, I wouldn't be here. Let's set ourselves up for success here. I don't think that's a good idea, so let's just not do that. I also want to go and give you the trigger warnings before we do anything. So it says, trigger warning, this book contains scenes that may depict, mention, or discuss assault, attempted murder, attempted rape, blood, child abuse, death, gun violence, hospitalization, murder, physical abuse, rape, sexual abuse, sexual assault, torture, violence, and more. It also comes with a playlist, and the only person that I recognize on here is Miley Cyrus and Halsey. I don't know, I like exclusively listen to Sleep Token now. It's actually a problem. Have I mentioned Sleep Token once or twice on this channel? I don't think I mentioned it. I don't know what you're talking about. Prologue. Charlie, it's our main character. The slow drip of a leaky faucet would have driven most people mad from the constant noise. It's as if a never-ending echo from a pipe throbs against my eardrums, but I find the incessant dripping soothes my mind. It's often the only sound I hear for days at a time. So she's locked up somewhere that stinks and is also humid and frigid, which should keep her chilled from the inside out, she says, but it seems to be growing a part of me now. The growing numbness to my body is engulfing any ounce of warmth I may have left in not just my body, but my soul. Say body again. We didn't say it enough. Say it one more time. Just 3rd time's the charm. Jesus. So the sentence, the growing numbness to my body is engulfing any ounce of warmth I have left in, Jesus, that sentence is so overly long for no reason. The sentence doesn't make a lot of sense, but it would have made a little more sense if we had said the growing numbness within my body or my body has grown numb, right? I get it. We're trying to do a Linkin Park here, but this sentence is bad. I understand what you're attempting to say. You just said it so badly and for no reason. We're on page 1. Okay, we're on page 1 of the prologue, and I'm already checking the back for the acknowledgments thinking, was there an editor? Like this, as a reader who paid for this, that's what I'm checking. I should not be on page 1 wondering if a book had an editor. The book did have an editor, in fact, and apparently the only thing the editor didn't edit was the acknowledgments because the author says she didn't have time to get it to the editor. So that means that this first sentence was edited, which makes me believe that this was not so much edited as it was run through spell check, which as a consumer, I'm not a huge fan of because I do in fact want the sentences to make sense. Even if I hate the characters, there have been many times on this channel that you have seen me say, I don't like this book, I don't like the characters, I don't like the plot, but that sentence is a good sentence. That sentence hit something for me emotionally. I can give you an example. This book, The Deer and the Dragon, I think I gave it a 2.25. There was a part in here that talks about the main character's mommy issues, and it resonated with me deeply. I am willing to admit when a book has a line that sounds good. There are no such instances in this one at all. No. I'm uncertain how long I've been here. I was young when I was first dumped here. The men come down to pay me a visit in my personal hell more often than I'd like, but sometimes it's desperately needed, assuming I want to have food and water. They don't like it when I fight back. I still have the will to live, which doesn't do me any favors. I assume they wouldn't keep me chained and half-starved if they had any interest in killing me. Then again, any food and water are better than none, and that alone might prove me wrong. After all, why would you feed a corpse? Oh my God. Chapter 1, Charlie again. This is dual POV, by the way. How exciting. If I didn't know any better, I would say that this author and the author of this book are the same person because they write very similar, and that is not a compliment. Do you have itchy scratchies? Let's see the baby. Cat cutie, cutie on duty. So she wakes up in a grave in chapter 1. I'm surrounded by something, but I can't see and can barely move. I try to lift my arm, but I'm met with a barrier. Well, yeah, that's implied because you just said you're surrounded by something. So, yep. The particles I'm slowly inhaling with each breath I attempt to take feels like coffee grounds, but smell like dirt. Okay, let's break this sentence down, shall we? The particles I'm slowly breathing. So the subject of that sentence is the particles, and the verb is feels, but we don't have subject-verb agreement, which is very basic. The particles feels doesn't make sense. You have a plural subject, and now we also have feels as the verb. There's no subject-verb agreement. This is chapter 1. Every sensation in my body hums. I'm hyper aware of this moment. A fight to survive if I ever had one. Whoever tried to kill me did a piss poor job. You know, considering I'm still breathing. Barely. I feel like I wrote this in my scene hair days. That's how edgy it's trying to be. I probably had that one song, Suffocation, No Breathing, playing in the background. I'm like, yeah, I'm really eating it up. I realized they've left me for dead in a shallow grave, completely naked. You're in a shallow grave, but you're completely surrounded? You couldn't move your arm in a shallow grave? Okay. I hear a small chuckle slip past my lips, which then turns into a giggle. And eventually, the giggle leaves me outright belly laughing, gasping for breath. I've lost it. I've fucking lost it, haven't I? Me first, bitch. I touch my face and pull my hand away to find my fingertips wet from the foreign liquid I forgot was streaming down my face from my leaking eyes. Are those tears?
Gonna cry?
Surely I'm not crying. I can't remember the last time I let tears fall, and now it's been so long I'm not even aware of it. I think you meant to say I don't recognize it for what it is, but all right. I walk through the thinning woods. I would hate not having a way to tell the time. What? I could never have a watch or a clock, and anytime I asked what time it was, they punished me in some form or another. Eventually, I quit asking. There is no mention of a clock before this. There is no mention of like her having a watch. She just randomly says, I would hate not being able to tell the time. You have grown up in the asylum. You have never had a way to tell time. I would hate not having a way to tell the time. Well, I guess you hate it because you fucking don't. I quit asking. It was no longer worth it. Why would I want to count down the minutes that passed? You just said you would hate not having a way to tell the time. What do you mean? Anyway, it's nighttime. She's walking around it. It's nighttime. I have come to learn it is the dead of night when people get more brave. This next part is underlined by 35 people. I think I'm one of them. Monsters not only come out at night, but they walk among the living during the light of day. Nightmares, however, are often born in the dead of night and take on a life of their own. Space. Good formatting. Those suffer at the hands of a monster may choose to let that pain fester until it becomes too much and creates an entity of its own, a nightmare to survive the only way it knows how when the prey becomes the predator. Listen, I'm not trying to shame other readers. I'm just trying to understand the 37 other people who highlighted this passage. What was it about it that drew you to it? Because that is a very long sentence that feels an awful lot like word salad to me. So she emerges next to a playground. The street is fairly quiet, aside from a young couple on the other side of the playground. Although late at night or in the pre-dawn early morning hours, you could have just said the pre-dawn. You could have just said at pre-dawn. Anyone you find near a playground is probably far from good news. But I'm a creep. Then again, they aren't the ones standing naked in a park covered in dirt. I shrug my shoulders at my incessant need to justify everything like it's my fault. You shrug your shoulders at yourself? You're just standing there naked, shrugging to yourself. Got it? You can do this, Charlie, no problem. It could have been worse. You could have been naked and dead. Then what would you have to complain about? Nothing. That's what you could be deader than dead, I say as I nod yes to no one but me, convincing myself I'm being completely rational at this moment. I quickly look up to find a couple of teenagers across from me. One gasps like I'm the second coming. Of Christ? Of Christ Jesus? Really? They're looking at you like you are the second coming of Christ? I'm not sure that you understood what the reaction would be to the second coming of Christ.
You want forgiveness? Get religion.
Okay, no, it's fine. So she stares at them and says, "Can I fucking help you?" Bitch, you're naked in the park where they're just hanging out. And then she's like, "Clothes, give me your clothes." The girl says, "I'm not giving you my clothes. Are you crazy?" I smile and wait. Eventually, her boyfriend removes his clothes. I don't think she likes it too much, but she had her chance. Jesus, the look she's giving me. Is this normal? Not only do I not have time for this, but I grew up chained like a prisoner and kept from the outside world. I want you to remember this, because in a minute, she's about to identify something that my kid, who has access to YouTube, couldn't identify if you gave him the option of winning $500, okay? She's about to identify something that is so oddly specific that there's no way she could have possibly known it growing up isolated and chained in a basement. Even if she had access to a TV, I still don't understand how she possibly identifies the thing that she's about to identify, okay? She gets mad because these teenagers in the park have not asked her if she's okay. This naked woman who just came bumbling up to them, nodding and shrugging at herself.
I'm weird. I'm a weirdo.
And demanding their clothes. And she says, "Oh, for fuck's sake, just give me the damn things." She snatches his joggers out of his hand, leaving him in nothing but boxers. I pull his t-shirt over my head and stick my arms through the holes. As I pull my head through the top, I get a whiff of some sort of cologne or fragrance. You could have just said some sort of fragrance. It could be worse. It also could be better. Oh well. I didn't actually need it explained to me how to put a t-shirt on. I'm familiar. And the fact that the shirt has a fragrance has like nothing to do with anything. It's just mentioned. We could have cut it out. It's not like we don't have time to do the stuff that we need to do in the story to make, you know, room for characters, context, conflict, craft. It's just that we wasted so much time on nonsense and sentences that have like no logic to them whatsoever, or even like basic subject verb agreement, right? So then she takes off down the road and it says, "I don't know where I'm going. I'm not even sure where I am at this exact moment." Well, yeah, you've never been anywhere except the asylum. So like that's implied. We know that you don't know where you are. You've only been at the asylum. I got it. We don't need to reiterate. I'm with you. Move along. Maybe tell me something else relevant that I actually need to know for characters, context, conflict, and craft. Yeah? Or maybe set the scene with some suspense for what's coming. But instead we're just like, I pull a t-shirt on. It has a fragrance. I don't know where I am. I know. All right, let's jump back into this, shall we? Who's ready? She starts walking, walks a few blocks, finds a building. It doesn't say what kind of building. It just says, "I cut through a parking lot and walk around the back of the building." What building? We don't know. "Looking for the answer to my prayers, and they're answered soon after." The concrete is cutting up her feet, so she's trying to find shoes. She finds an older car with all the windows rolled up, and she spots a pair of flip-flops in the seat. "Aside from my great find of cheap footwear, I realize the situation I'm in now. I want to strangle whatever fucker did this." I feel like that came out of the blue, but okay. I don't really know what, aside from my great find of cheap footwear, I realize I'm in this. Oh, you know what? Never mind. Let's just move on. "I run around the building, bloody feet and all, looking for what I need. After I found it, I come back to free the small dog." What small dog? So I'm looking at this page and this page and looking for the word dog anywhere before that sentence. It's not there. Then someone shouts, "Ma'am, come back here. You need to pay for that." Pay for what? What dog? Pay for what? What is the building? Is it a gas station? Is it a Walmart? Is it a Dollar General? Is it a shack where a man is randomly selling things and this is his pair of flip-flops that has the pair of flip-flops turned into a dog? What are we doing? And then now it says, "From the sidewalk in front of the gas station doors," he yells. It's a gas station? News to me. Why? I'm just borrowing it. Besides, you don't even sell them. This is a gas station. Sell what? I go to the opposite side of the vehicle, raise the bat. What bat? Is that what you stole? You stole a bat from a gas station? If they don't even sell them, then why would he even say you need to pay for that? Pay for what? What do you mean? Does she need to rent the bat? Is it his? Is he the gas station attendant? Or is he the guy who rents bats at the side of the gas station? What are we doing? So she busts open the window of this old car. I crawl across the glass, not paying attention to the cuts and shards embedding themselves in my skin, and reach first for the flip-flops and second for my newest inconvenience, because that's exactly what it is. An inconvenience of epic proportions. This is so unlike me. It's ridiculous. I'm not one of those bleeding heart activists who are all about rescuing every homeless animal. What do you know about bleeding heart activists who rescue every animal? You grew up in an asylum, mostly in the basement. What are you talking about? Not that I don't think they deserve help, but I'm usually dealing with my own problems and that leaves little time to deal with others. But something about being trapped in the ground gives me a small tinge of sympathy deep down for this dog. Trapped in the ground, you were also trapped in the basement. You were trapped in the basement way longer than you were trapped in the ground. You've been trapped your whole life. What are you talking about? I seriously don't need this right now, but you caught me in a giving mood. Put those eyes away. They won't work on me, but you need a name. They won't work, but you're picking him up. You're picking up the dog. It already worked. What are you talking about? I take in the innocent look of the fluffy brown, listen to me, look at me, the fluffy brown teacup multi-poo. At least I think that's what he is, and I don't think they're cheap either. I'm sorry. Didn't you grow up in captivity? How the fuck do you know what a teacup multi-poo is? Were you allowed on your TV days to only watch dog shows? What are we doing? And I don't think they're cheap either, so I'm sure I'm about to piss someone else off. What would a teacup multi-poo be doing inside of a shitty car? You tell whoever kept this dog locked in the car with no food and water there is a special place in hell for people who mistreat animals. You have no idea how long the car's been parked either. You just walked up, locked eyes with flip-flops, saw a dog at some point, unbeknownst to the reader, and then grabbed something which turned out to be a bat at somewhere which turned out to be a gas station, shattered the window. This all happened in like 2 seconds. You have no idea how long the dog's been in the car. What are you talking about? What if the owner didn't want to take the dog into the bathroom and is having like explosive diarrhea inside the bathroom? God forbid somebody need to leave the dog in the car for a few minutes and go have explosive diarrhea in a gas station. So she starts walking again, tossing the bat aside. Me and T, crap, I think I just named him T, short for teacup. Sure, why not? Why not? Because it's dumb. What do you mean, why not? You need a list? Should I list the reasons alphabetically? We pass by what looks to be a bar, but appears more like a hole in the wall, literally. So it's a literal hole in the wall? Literally a hole in the wall? So there's no door? Oh, nope, that can't be it because it literally says in the next sentence, there's only a small sign that says bar next to a door. So it's not literally a hole in the wall. Yeah? I give myself an A+ for my deductive reasoning skills. Who said I'd never amount to anything? I know you're trying to be cute and quirky, but you're so dumb that I think you won't amount to anything. I'm praying for your downfall at this point. That would be more interesting than watching you name a teacup multi-poo T and not be able to understand the difference between a literal hole in a wall and a door. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get ourselves into. I'm not sure of the time, but the door is open, so in we go. I'm not sure of the time, but the door is open. Are you trying to say I'm not sure what the hours of this establishment are? Because that's different than saying you don't know what time it is. The scent of sin and cigarettes hits my nose. What does sin smell like? Just for the class. As my eyes adjust to the lighting, I walk over to the bar, pull my flip-flops off, and toss them onto the bar in front of me. You didn't need to say bar twice, first of all. Second of all, you went through so much to get those fucking flip-flops and you just discarded them on a bar counter? So a girl walks up to her, a young woman about her age, and says, "Can I help you?" I watch her as she takes in my appearance, and in return, sure that it's a lot to take in. Crazily tangled, long black hair. Don't worry, we're gonna dye it purple, guys. Flip-flops with bloody feet. No, you took the flip-flops off, remember? They're on the counter now of this woman's bar. Sweatpants and a shirt that's far too large. And to top off the looks, it's a fluffy little dog that, listen to me, a fluffy little dog that can't weigh over 10 or 15 pounds at most. Listen, I don't even know where to begin. Number one, you're talking about a teacup dog. They are never 10 or 15 pounds. They can fit in your hand because they are able to also fit inside of a teacup because they are 2 to 3 pounds. My cat is 13 pounds. 13 pounds, 7 ounces, okay? Where are you? Co-host, I need you. She'll show up. The point is, you will never find a teacup dog that is 13 pounds unless something has gone horribly wrong genetically. 13 pounds. It's weird and stupid that a person who grew up completely detached from society somehow knows what a teacup multi-poo is, but then doesn't know that a teacup multi-poo can sit inside a teacup because they're 2 to 3 pounds, not 10 or 15. 15 pounds? That's bigger than most cats. 13 pounds. Like, did you just not Google at all? Where is the editor? My kingdom for an answer from the editor. So she's like, "Oh, are you okay?" To Charlie, this, woman at the bar, and she's like, "Oh, Better than when I woke up today, because she woke up in a grave, if you recall. There's a guy at the bar, and he is super, super fine, and he has a tattoo of a spider, a small spider, it says, but, you know, we called a teacup Maltipoo 10 to 15 pounds, so maybe it's like taking up half his fucking face, but it says right below his temple of a small spider. So like here, there's a spider tattoo on him. Again, could be his entire cheek, judging by the size proportions known by this woman. I don't know who in the asylum taught her pounds and, you know, size differences anyway, but who knows? So then there's a guy behind her at the bar breathing hot alcohol breath on her neck. Not spider tattoo guy. I crane my neck away from the bold assailant while attempting to keep the disgust and rage from my face, and he starts rubbing the bulge in his pants against her hip. So then she walks over to the attractive stranger, spider tattoo guy, and says, "Hold my dog," marches up to the guy who rubbed himself on her and says, "Let me tell you something, you limp motherfucker. I may be small. I may look like the little lost girl you think you can take advantage of, but don't let your eyes deceive you. I'm the worst kind of hell you can find.
I don't fit in, and I don't want to fit in.
You want to know why? I just climbed out of a goddamn grave. You know what that makes me? A fucking zombie." Oh, I'm so sorry. I have an allergic reaction to bad writing. Wow, that was perfectly timed, wasn't it? "I'll rip your face off with my teeth for fun." I learned many things growing up in an asylum. Yeah, including what a teacup Maltipoo is, but not how much they weigh, I guess. Including my colorful language skills. I grab his dick through his pants and twist, then jump up to grab his head, slam it against the bar. He falls to the floor. I punch him. I'm seeing red. I then bite his ear and tug with my teeth, ripping a good chunk of it from his head. Cool. Next chapter is chapter 3, and we are in the POV of Spider Tattoo Guy. His name is Jax. I see the storm brewing in her eyes as she shoves a little fur ball in my direction. Little fur ball? That's possibly 15 pounds. Somehow, the Maltipoo is 15 pounds, which is, again, larger than my cat Artemis, who's a rather large cat already. She looks like chaos wrapped in damnation. The fuck? I immediately feel the tension in the air. "Jax, help that poor girl," Ashlyn whispers loudly in my direction. Whispers loudly. Whispers loudly. Jax! Jax! I should do the rest of this review in a whisper scream. A loud whisper. "Doesn't look like she needs help to me," I say as I grin at my sister Ashlyn. You don't need to say Ashlyn, you just said her name's Ashlyn. I got it, thank you. So Ashlyn swats his arms. He's like, "All right, fine, you take the dog then." He walks over. Guy with the zombie bite to his ear now says, "You crazy bitch." I decide I should probably step in and walk around the display in front of me, deciding not to approach from behind. I've seen this kind of crazy before. Hell, I am this kind of crazy.
Put some dirt in your eye.
I know the last thing this little terror needs is to feel like she's being caged in or attacked from behind. Let's get you cleaned up, naughty girl. Ugh. See, at that point, I would have also bitten this guy's ear off. "Charlie," she murders. Not yet. Murmurs. "My name is Charlie." He says his name is Jax. Oh my gosh. I'm shocked. His name is Jax? Wow, I've never heard that name before. I doubt what she said about climbing out of a grave holds any truth, but she looks like she climbed out of one. Then what do you think happened? Like, why would... You know what, never mind. I can't argue that she doesn't look like that's exactly what happened. You just said she looks like she climbed out of one. You don't need to repeat that. Because she looks like hell. She's hot, I'll give her that. Why? But it seems like she's been to hell and back a few times. Oh my god. You just said she looks like hell, and then it says, but it seems she's been to hell and back, ellipses, a few times. Stop this. You just did an entire paragraph of repetition. So the normal response at this point from a normal actual person and not this cardboard cutout of a person that we slapped into this book to, you know, make a horny moment or two. The normal reaction would be, hey, the cops are probably going to get called. This just never comes up. This just never, she bit a dude's ear off and the cops just didn't get called. I don't understand. Do you? Maybe you can explain it to me. I'm seriously hoping she's not one of those females who haul their little dog around inside a purse. Nothing against dogs. Love them. But that's annoying as shit. Okay, so let's prioritize things that make sense in this moment. Things that don't make sense to prioritize in this moment. Her being hot, her being a woman who might carry around a dog in a purse. Things to prioritize over here. The cops might get called because she just bit a dude's ear off. How are we forgetting? So she's like, this isn't really my dog. I just found him locked in a car with no food or water. I jailbroke him. They're like, you stole a dog? She gives him a dirty look. The dog was alone, locked in a car with nothing to eat or drink. What if he had to go to the bathroom? Then what? Again, you gave no time for the owner to come back, but okay. I take another look at her from a different perspective after removing the After removing the metaphorical rose-colored glasses. The rose-colored glasses are always metaphorical! They're never literal! Ah! It's fine. My apologies. Don't worry, he doesn't have literal rose-colored glasses. He takes off his metaphorical ones, which is new because we all know that other times they're literal. Normally, the rest of us are just walking around with literal rose-colored glasses that we're taking off and seeing new perspectives. You're so right, babe. I didn't calm down. I just kept going. Sorry. Her long black hair is tangled and dirty along with her skin covered in what looks like soil. We know. We already did this. You also just said her skin looks dirty. What is it dirty with? Soil. It's dirt. Anyway, a vast contrast to the freshly laundered joggers and t-shirt she's wearing. So the guy went in the night to a park with freshly laundered joggers and then she walked around in them and they still look freshly laundered? Okay. Charlie, where'd you come from? Or where did you say you come from? I didn't, but since you asked, hell. Chapter 4 is in Charlie's POV. The Oak Grove Asylum was many things. I didn't realize how different my childhood was from other kids until I could watch television now and then and would see the huge contrast in the lives of TV families compared to my mother's and my own. The TV families who apparently had teacup Maltipoos that were 10 to 15 pounds or something. I don't fucking know. I was never told who my father was, but my mother was a patient at the asylum, so it wasn't hard to guess who my father was. Say the words "my father was" one more time. From symmetrical similarities, it's obvious that Dr. Whitmore was my biological father, though no one dared to ask. He was also her jailer. When she was 7, he took her from her mother's care, took her into the small basement on the edge of the property. After that, that's where she stayed. She escaped twice. She didn't get far. She'd get down the hall and she'd get recaptured. What? Recaptured. She looks at the clock on the wall at the bar, notices it's 2 a.m., is getting really exhausted, and then just passes out on the floor. By the way, the book has little spiders. Oh, fuck's sake. Little spiders. See the spider? Oh, fun. When she wakes up in a room above or in the part of the bar. They live at the bar. Ashlyn and Jax, this brother-sister duo, live at this bar that Ashlyn runs. No word yet on what Jax does. Take a guess. Take a gander. Can you guess what he does? You can't because it comes out of nowhere in a little bit here. I wasn't lying when I said I woke up in a shallow grave. I literally dug my way through the dirt to get my next breath. They left me for dead. Fucking dead. Who left you for dead, Charlie? Jax grinds out the question as if he doesn't want the answer. Okay. It doesn't matter. The hell it doesn't. Some chick shows up in my sister's bar talking about climbing out of graves, being a zombie, tearing off ears with her teeth. Yeah, are the cops gonna get called or nah? Okay, so maybe I'm not a zombie, but that's not the fucking point. Nobody said that was... Then what is the point? He yells. And so she shows him her wrists and says, this is what happens when you're a dirty little secret that needs to be kept. We can't have the good doctor looking like he fucks the patients now, can we? Your doctor did this to you? My father did this to me. Her wrists have from being tied up, they're all messed up. So I tell him my story, every dirty detail from my earliest childhood memories, to what I've heard from others at the asylum, to what I experienced at the hands of the monsters within its walls. He just listens. I remember a story from when I was younger about the Lost Boys. Well, I'm the forgotten girl. How many more patients have they done this to? She thinks. Just my mother? I didn't see any other children there. Am I the only one? I have so many questions that need answers. One way or another, they're all going to pay. She doesn't actually ask that question. She has no idea if there are any other kids. Why are you telling me this? Jack says. Are you expecting me to ride in and save the day? Is that what this is, little terror? Am I supposed to feel sorry for you now?
Gonna cry?
Are you serious? You asked for my story, so I gave it to you. No, actually, he didn't ask for your story. That didn't happen. He said who did this to you, as in the who buried you alive and caused that. He didn't say, give me your entire life story. No, you're looking for some white knight to ride in and save the day. Girl, what are you talking about? Well, guess what, little girl? No one is going to do that. I'm not a white knight. I'm the monster from nightmares, not the hero from fairy tales. Wow, that's something. She says, I can't believe the turn this conversation has taken. Me fucking either, girlfriend. Do you think I even know what fairy tales are? Bitch, you know what a teacup multi-poo is, but you don't know what a fairy tale is? You didn't watch fairy tales? You were just watching dog shows? What are we doing? I don't get fairy tales. They don't exist in my world. Teacup multi-poos do though, yeah? Okay, nightmares are my happily ever after. Oh my God. Stop it! Everyone is a monster and the girl saves her damn self. So get off your fucking delusional high horse and shut the fuck up. This is the most edgy shit I have ever read in my life.
I don't fit in, and I don't want to fit in.
So Jack storms out of the room. It takes less than 1 minute for me to decide there's only one hand left for me to play. And I'm like, is she gonna kill him? No, she runs away. That's the hand that she was gonna play. She ran away. She left. There's only one hand left for me to play, leaving. I go outside. Oh, this is Jack's POV. I go outside to calm down from the storm brewing inside me. I don't know why I got so mad at her. It's for the story. It's so that she would leave and then you would go chase after her. It's not for any good reason, in case you were wondering. My sister and I had our own problems. A drunk of a father who left his mark on us both, but the night he threatened to sell Ashlyn if I didn't do as I was told, I lost it. He dug his own grave that night, ending his reign of terror. It's been me and my sister ever since. Well... and the guys. Oh, can't wait. Looking forward to pals. So he finishes smoking a cigarette. Ew, I say as if I didn't literally date Carlos for years and years and years of him being a smoker. I am a double standard walking. It's then I realized Charlie hasn't come down from the studio apartment upstairs. Why would she? You yelled at her and said, I'm not gonna be your white knight abuse victim, and then you left to go smoke a cigarette. Like, what? There's no way I would have missed her unless she must have left through the back door that opens to a fire escape down the back of the building. Oh, okay, Kronk, thank you. The dull ache in my chest for someone I met only a matter of hours ago won't let me forget this one is on me. The dull ache, what? Once the system fails you, it's hard to trust anything that comes from the turning cogs of the wheel ever again. The turning cogs of that wheel ever again. Are there cogs on a wheel? Because I think there are spokes on a wheel. There are cogs in a machine, no? Do I have that right? Am I dumb or is this? I mean, I already know that this is dumb. 15-pound teacup multi-poo. But I feel like that's not correct either. If our parents didn't look after us and the government was a laughingstock with getting abused kids out of bad situations, then it was up to us to take care of ourselves. Doing this voice is fucking me up. I guess I see where Charlie was coming from now when she said the girl saves herself. She was pretty on point with her analogy. That wasn't an analogy. She said this isn't a fairy tale. If it were a fairy tale, then maybe it would be an analogy, but okay, I need to quit comparing Charlie to Ashlyn. They're not the same. Charlie's not my sister. Thank fuck. Because that would get all kinds of complicated on levels I'm not even comfortable admitting to myself yet or ever. What the fuck are you talking about? You met her 10 seconds ago, yelled at her for telling you her life story, and now you're like, thank God she's not my sister. What are you doing? She's gone, and she left her damn dog. Oh no, she left that 15-pound multi-poo. I went from being frustrated because of upsetting Charlie to livid that she's acting like a child. Oh, good. The many stages of Jax. I'm thinking I should have been the one in the asylum. Scratch that. We already know that, but this inconsiderate little shit just dumped her fucking dog with my sister, threw a little bitch fit, and fucking ran away scared like a little girl. I'm fuck pissed. I'm fucking furious. Say fuck one more time. Like, I swear a lot, but this is egregious. I'm sitting here acting like she was doing me a favor by sharing her story with me. Fuck that and fuck her story. Wow, what a guy. He's like, fine, I'll just tell Ashlyn the good news. You get a new dog. Charlie starts walking, walks for at least an hour, can't get a sense of direction, which makes sense because she has never been outside of the asylum, so how she would even get a sense of direction is beyond me. I found what looked like an abandoned, decrepit building. Reiterates she's never been outside the asylum, doesn't have any money, doesn't know her way around town, around this town, which is a weird way to say that because she doesn't know her way around anywhere that isn't the asylum again. Talks about how she can't manage her own emotions very well. If something makes me sad or depressed, but I can't identify the feeling right away, it can quickly turn to anger, and before I know it, I'm coming down from a rage-filled high with one hell of an emotional hangover and only fragments of memories to piece together. By 6 years old, I had been through my first round of electroshock therapy. That makes me really sad because I have a 6-year-old. I don't like reading stuff like that. So then it says, when I turned 7, they could officially label me as a murderer. Well, not officially. Okay, so is it officially or not officially? That would mean they would have to call the cops, and there was no way that was happening with that shady shit going on in that place. But then it says later that Jax sees her witness her first kill, or sees her do her first kill, like he witnesses her first kill. But then it says here, when I turned 7, by the time I turned 7, they could officially label me as a murderer. Well, not officially. But then later, the one guy's her first kill. Continuity? What's that? There were staff drugging patients just to keep them compliant, not just to make their jobs easier, but to fulfill their sick sexual appetites. Sex addicts. Apparently that alone does not warrant a one-way ticket to the nut house, but people would be surprised how many mental disorders are diagnosed with a big side of hypersexuality disorder. I checked, and there is no such thing as hypersexuality disorder. Hypersexuality is a symptom of other things, but there's no such term as hypersexuality disorder. That's really fucked up to write an asylum like this, call it a nut house. As somebody who was forcibly put into an institution for several days when they were a teenager, I don't like when people write about it who clearly don't know what that's like, you know, to make it like edgy, dark shit like this. It just does like a disservice to it, and it doesn't help to destigmatize that experience. Anytime that has like been brought up, it's like not on my official record anymore, which like thank God, because like the amount of people who respond so poorly to finding out that you were institutionalized is bonkers. So then to just like talk about doing things like electroshock therapy and say things like hypersexuality disorder, like I just think that this is really irresponsible. She then says, I need to come up with a plan. And I'm like, okay. Step 1, call the police. You need to call the police. You are literally a victim of false imprisonment and sexual assault. Call the police. She doesn't even consider this. It's not even discussed why she doesn't want to. I thought myself lucky for having met 2 individuals I could see trusting with my secrets. You met them for 5 seconds. What are we doing? Maybe it was for the best that I left. I have some bodies of my own that need to be buried, and I don't plan to stop until they're all in the ground. I would like to start by finding out who the hell left my mother to rot in that godforsaken asylum in the first place and never came back for her. My memory may be a fickle bitch, but I don't remember my mom having a single visitor in all the years I spent with her. Do I have a family? Do they know I exist? If they do, they left me there. And if that's the case, I might need a bigger shovel. I don't know how to tell you this, but when you dig a grave, you don't make the shovel bigger to fit more bodies. You make the hole bigger to fit more bodies. Like, are you just like getting a comically large shovel, hoping that will, you just make the hole bigger. You just make the grave bigger. What are we doing? So she's hanging out in this abandoned, decrepit building, as she called it. She drinks water from a faucet inside this building. That seems like a recipe for drinking still water and, you know, ending up with a infection, but sure, whatever. I can't even remember the last time I had a shower or bathed in any sense of the word. It had been weeks since I was allowed near any water at all, unless they gave it to me in a small paper cup. Wouldn't you be dead? Okay. I stayed in the shower at the abandoned building long after the water had turned cold. The abandoned, decrepit building still has a water heater. So she's getting hungry. She hasn't eaten anything. For obvious reasons, I can't go around telling anyone who will listen that someone tried to kill me and I've grown up chained in the basement. You already did. You already told like one of the first people that you met. But okay. They would for sure make one phone call and send me right back to that fucking place. Or they call the police. I don't know why everybody's allergic to calling the police in this book. In the next chapter, Jax is like, she's still alive? What happened to her? He's like, we have to find her because his sister wants her new adopted BFF back. They didn't even have a conversation. What are you talking about? They never even spoke. She said, hey, are you okay? And she said, I've had a better afternoon, better than I woke up this morning, and then handed her the dog and put her flip-flops on the bar. They didn't even talk. New adopted BFF? What are you talking about? How the hell she became that over just a few hours when it was me Charlie mostly talked to? I have no idea, but here we are. You have to be fucking kidding. He heads over to Sonny's Diner, which just reminded me of Shoney's. I miss Shoney's. He's at Sonny's Diner and he's looking at the menu and the waitress comes up and asks if he wants anything. And then the waitress leaves and I glance up and look out the window beside my booth, which has a view of the sidewalk. For a moment, I think I must be hallucinating as I see her reflection in the window I'm looking out of. It's like Tom's Diner. I realize it's not on the outside, but on the inside. He is looking out the window at somebody coming in. I turn my head so fast, I should probably be concerned about giving myself whiplash. Oh, buddy, break your neck. Can't come soon enough. And there she is. Her eyes are red, rimmed, and filling with tears, but not quite full enough to fall over the edge of her lids and down her face. I'm about to apologize when Sunny herself comes up and smacks me on the back of my head. The woman might be in her 70s, but she's feisty as fuck. Hey, Sunny. Don't you hey me, boy. I've been here how many years now? Too long, that's how long. Long enough to witness something I ain't ever seen, something I didn't think I ever would see. Jackson Jameson Jagger. Jackson Jameson Jagger? Is this a Jackson Jameson joke? So tell me why I got a girl coming up here with cuts and bruises and bloody damn clothes with no food, needing money to eat or a job to earn some money, and when I ask her where she came from, the first name out of her mouth was yours. I would never do anything like that. Now, I ain't saying you did, boy. I know she's not accusing me of anything, but simply warning me to watch myself. I can't decide if I want to stab someone or bend Charlie over my knee and give her a well-deserved spanking for putting the closest thing to a mother figure me and Ashlyn have into the middle of our mess. Her mess. Fuck. What? My little terror likes to play games. She's a survivor through and through, doing whatever it takes to see another day. The girl climbed out of a literal grave. If that's not a survivor move, I don't know what is. What are we even doing anymore? So then Ashlyn picks up Charlie from the diner where Mrs. Sunny had hired me under the table, whatever that means. Oh, you know what a teacup multi-poo is, but you don't know what being hired under a table is. Who knows? I don't. I had no idea that Jax and Ashlyn knew Mrs. Sunny, but how would I? I don't know. How do you know what a teacup multi-poo is? Who knows? So then, for some reason, Ashlyn, Jax's sister, does her hair and makeup. I had never worn makeup. I open my eyes and can't help. I open my eyes and can't help the gasp that quickly escapes my lips. My long black mane is now a vibrant purple, but still somehow has held on to a hint of black depending on the lighting. Aren't you under the same lighting you've been under for the last 2 seconds? She had given me what she called a light smoky eye, which now made total sense with its smoky charcoal color. She had gone light on the eyeliner and used nothing else aside from the lightly tinted lip gloss. Oh, right, I forgot about this part. I sent this to Natalie and told her to kill me. She had me pick out my favorite of the 3, and I chose this one simply because it smelled like coconuts. I did not know what coconut smelled like. So you chose a lip gloss because it smelled like coconuts, even though you don't know what coconut smells like. What? What do you mean? Kill me. But I never expected them to smell so good. They looked like big hairy balls that were white and milky on the inside from what I had seen and read, and I just didn't see how that seemed very appetizing. What? I'm wearing a black short sleeve t-shirt with the white outline of roses that appeared to make up a heart with the word envy embedded in the middle, topped with a black leather jacket. My jeans are black and ripped at the knees, and my shoes are black lace-up boots. I am completely in love with the new me, but I can't help but help the small whisper in the back of my mind, hoping Jax might someday be too. You've had 2 conversations with him total. Ridiculous. What even is that? I don't know. The reader, I don't know. I only have what you've given me. You look beautiful, Ashlyn compliments. I feel beautiful. Do you feel bonita? No need to thank me, Charlie. You're a badass chick. You just needed the look to match the attitude. Oh my God, kill me. So then they get together with Jax and his palios. He can't really concentrate on his palios though, because there is too much craziness going on between Charlie and me. What do you mean? You've had 2 conversations. What's going on between you and Charlie? What did I miss? Point it out to me on the map. Charlie might not know it yet, but she's about to get her wish granted, whether she knows it's what she wished for or not. What are you talking about? So then they lock eyes across the bar, and of course she looks super smoking hot with her purple hair and her shirt that says envy on it. Her smoky eye, depending on how you're feeling, you can choose either smoky with or without an E. I decided in this very moment that if I'm going all in on this, I'm doing it my way. What was the other option? I stroll across the bar and slide up beside Charlie while she's talking to my sister. This new look of hers, the word beautiful, doesn't even begin to cover it. You look gorgeous, you know that, right? Well, thanks. You were gorgeous before, but the difference now is that you look like you know it. That's a good thing, little terror. Jackson Jameson Jagger, are you flirting with me? And you realize like your name sounds like a mix of a porn star and a rock star, don't you? Things she learned in the asylum somehow. It actually mentions this. What would you know about porn stars and rock stars? No one censored their language where I grew up. I learned all sorts of things kids probably shouldn't at a young age. Great, that is... Okay, introduces her to his friends, Liam, Ren, and Kai, of course. This is Charlie, are the words that flow slowly from my mouth, but what they hear is what I want them to hear, that she's off the fucking table, because like I said, whether she knows it, she's fucking mine. You actually didn't mention that previously. This is the first time I'm hearing that. Why? Why is she yours? Help me. She and everybody else are drinking. He cut himself off a while ago because I was not thinking and forgot that while this girl was a prisoner, it also sheltered her from the world of mundane things we take for granted like alcohol tolerance. I don't think she's ever had an actual beer before until tonight. I don't think she's ever even had an actual beer before until tonight. So before and until are both prepositions. You can pick one or the other. You didn't need to put both next to each other in that sentence. Where's the editor? Help! I had planned to apologize for the way things had gone down with us before, but I didn't really want to go into the details in front of a bar full of people. In front of a bar full of people. In front of a bar full of people. You could have just said, in front of people, or at a bar full of people. You didn't need to do in front of a bar full of people. I'll save that for later tonight or tomorrow if she's still around. The next chapter is in Charlie's POV, and he's like, she's thinking, I haven't forgotten the way that he yelled at me after I bled my heart out to him like a naive fool.
Stings, doesn't it?
So she's laying down in a bedroom, and he's just in there, sitting in a chair. And so she's like, what? I just wanted to apologize for the other night. That was a shit thing for me to do. Do you honestly think that saying you're sorry is going to take back everything you said to me? The way you treated me? Do you understand how you made me feel? I didn't come here to give you a sob story or whatever you want to call it, if that's what you're thinking. I just thought you seemed like someone who would understand. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe what I thought I saw in you was nothing more than a simple-minded boy who likes to act like he can fill the shoes of a grown man. That's a bit of a low blow, don't you think? Coming from a girl who just showed up the way she did.
You're trash, Brock.
I'm not understanding the relevance of those two things. You looked crazy. Don't call me crazy. Whether I am or not is none of your damn business. You're a stranger in his house, and you like bit off a dude's ear in his bar, which he could have been in trouble. Okay, no, it's fine. I have to admit though, the last thing I expected you to do was run. You didn't really seem like a runner to me. You are someone I would think would stay and fight. You just met. This is now the fourth conversation you guys have had total. I didn't run because of what you said, but because I was afraid of what I might do. You pissed me off. I can't control the things I say or do when I get mad, and I don't want to hurt you. I guess I can forgive you. It's not like anybody else is crazy enough to let me hang around. Who said I was going to let you hang around, Jack says. Come on, you like me. The playful banter is a nice reprieve from our usual ranting back and forth and foaming at the mouth with rage. This is only the fourth time you've ever talked, and only one of them was a fight. What are you talking about? That's not your usual. That's not true. She stretches and fakes a yawn. Chapter ends. Moves over to his POV where he's like, I'm basically not gonna let her fake a yawn. We're gonna fool around. He climbs into bed next to her. Placing my hand on her hip, I turn her away from me with my arm wrapped around her with my hand pressed to her stomach and pull her back toward me as the little spoon to my big spoon. He kisses her on the hair and she says, I have plans. Big bloody plans. I spent the day yesterday making a list. She lists off a bunch of names that she's planning to kill. She turns to face him and then he calls her plans bloody plans in quotes. She says, Ashlyn told me a little bit about the way that you guys grew up, and he's like thinking to himself, we have the guys. They're like family to us. They haven't said a word in this book, by the way. But I try to keep Ashlyn out of a certain business with them unless it's absolutely necessary for her to be in the know about a situation. So I'm thinking, is he like a drug dealer? Nope, not a drug dealer. I feel like you see me. Me, she says. I know I do. I think that's why I got so pissed after you told me your story. It felt like living mine all over again. Definitely different circumstances, but the pain in the same. I could feel it in my bones. Feel you in my bones. And then she kisses him. I'm not sure how fast or slow to go because of her past, but it seems I don't have to know. She sits up and straddles my lap, pressing her heat that's covered by a thin piece of fabric against the rigid length growing inside my jeans. You're a dirty girl, aren't you, baby? I thought you might be. And then it says that he he goes downstairs on her and it says, I slowly lick up and down each side of her mound. So is that like directly, what are we doing? Oh God, I don't want to read this at all. Is this what you want? You want your fucked? Yes. Yes what? Yes please, she begs loudly. Good girl, he says. Good. Blech. But then he says, ride my face, little terror. And I'm like, you know what? This is the only point in this book's favor. The one single solitary thing I'll give it is that at least we let a woman ride a face. I give points for that because I feel like there's not enough of it in fiction. I give this book -3 million stars minus that one singular 0.5 of a star, especially because it immediately makes me have the ick because it says that her juices are dripping down his face and rolling down my chin. Ew. Ew, ew, ew. Give it to me, baby. All of it. A gush of liquid rushes into my mouth and is dripping along my chin and down my neck. I continue to suck the nectar from her core. I don't like it. And then they fall asleep. I guess he just falls asleep with a boner. In the next chapter, we're on our way to meet up with Kai, Liam, and Ren. Jax informed me this morning of what he does for a living. Contract killer.
Your shots are so good.
I'd love to shoot you sometime.
Okay, why do I find that so hot? I don't know. You're a mystery to me. He mentioned the guys, but didn't want to go into too much detail because he wouldn't want them telling his business to other people. What? So they go up to a compound, what looks like a compound fenced in with a gated entrance. So they work at a compound for contract killers? Okay. I only catch a glimpse of the sign. Wicked something MC. I can't make out the second word. Oh well. I'm not sure if the gate outside is to keep people in or keep them out. Possibly both. What? Why would a contract killer be keeping people inside of this compound? What are we doing? Ren leads us to a room after entering an access code. I can't help but think that this looks like crazy spy shit. We are in a room full of computers. Jax tells them information required to get us some answers from my past. After a few hours, Jax seems to think we have everything we need to get started with my plans. Is this your bat cave, I ask? My bat cave? Yeah, you know, the hero has a home base or whatever. I'm no hero, little terror. I'm the villain. Good. Villains are more fun anyway. I look around at the weapons he has on display. And so she's like, oh, so I can choose any? All right, I'm choosing the knives. And then she gets a strap to hold all of her knives. How's that feel? Like I'm about to fuck some shit up. Ugh. God. I was surprised about the fact that I took the time to shove my tongue down his throat. He probably can't figure out what's up or down with me in my situation. Trigger warning for discussing sexual assault and rape. I hate the word. I hate to even say it. It makes me feel weak and dirty. It shouldn't. The word itself isn't dirty. It's the people who are responsible for the act that are the monsters. The ones who take and take until there's nothing left but, well, me. Growing up, I was repeatedly by whoever either found their way on their own to the basement where I was locked away or by whoever was told to find me specifically. It wasn't constant. Eventually I started to go along with it. I won't apologize for that. I was breaking and I'll be damned if he was going to break me, so I tried to convince myself I could play along. It made them want me less, but it didn't stop them. I just don't like any of this. I find this like really gross. As a survivor, I don't like it. Anyway, I don't know. I'm gonna move on. So they have a cabin that they will retreat to if anything goes wrong. In Jax's POV, they are on their way to go carry out her bloody plans, right? I just hope that doing this is everything she hopes it will be. I want her to get her vengeance, and we both know if she was kept in that hell her entire life and no one ever reported it, someone is in bed with law enforcement. We don't know that. I don't know why I should assume that, but okay. I can't help to feel like we're missing something. I'm not sure if it's just me being anxious and paranoid about bringing along an untrained civilian or if there's more to it. An untrained civilian? What are we doing? You are also a civilian. Okay. Anyway, nothing comes of that anxiety. I don't know why we needed to say that at all. In her POV, it says Jax thinks he's a monster from nightmares. He's yet to understand that while he may be a monster, I'm a nightmare come to life, one of their own making.
Oh, I'm edgy. I'm on fire.
They go to a house. Once we're inside the house, Jax helped me strip the man. The last thing I remember is you, Gerard, with an O. What happened after you raped me again, you sick fuck? I thought you were dead, he cried out. So you buried me alive? And so then she says, Dr. Whitmore, my father, why? I plead for an answer to a question I don't even know I'm asking. You're not even asking. I think what you meant to say is, I plead for an answer to an unspecific question. Like you don't know what specifically you're trying to ask. I don't know what you're talking about, he says. You're a weak little bitch, she calls him. And then she stabs him through his hot dog. And then he's like screaming and Jax puts 2 bullets through Gerard's head. Sorry, little terror, he was taking too long and we need to go. Why? Why do you need to go? What's happening? They leave and it says, I give one more glance over my shoulder at the house that held so few answers for me and can only hope that the next name on my list will be able to give me what I need. So why didn't you just go to like the beginning first? Because she's about to go to her family's house. So why didn't you just go to the family first? So they go back to their safe house and they take a shower, and then obviously they're getting hot and heavy again. I want inside you, he says. How do you want it? She says to me like you hate me. Careful, little terror. There's a thin line between love and hate. It may be hard to tell which one I'm chasing. Pardon? I beg your utmost pardon. What does that mean? And then it says that he impales her cat with one hard thrust. Heaven, in Jax's POV. Heaven. I thought for sure I would end up in hell, but here I am, balls deep in heaven herself. So they're going at it, smacks her on the ass. He says, you love this? Yes, she says. Whose is it, baby? Mine. I can't hear you. Mine. And then it's the same thing with, whose cat is this? Yours, your cat, she screams as she coats my with her sweet cream, squirting her juices all over my shaft, and I can't even, like, thick ropes of stuff, and I can't. It's disgusting. The way this is written is disgusting. So then a few days later, they had already called his pals, who still have not had a single word in this book, called his pals to like have a cleaner come and take away the body. Why they needed to go only to have a cleaner show back up, like what the sense of urgency was, I have no idea. The next step of her bloody plan is an important one. Then why didn't we do it first? Just asking. You sure you want to do this? I'm sure. It's a piece of my story that needs to be put in place. Shit, the last time she told me about her story, I got lost in my head and my past with my own story. I got lost in my head and my past with my own story. You could have just said, I got lost in my head, or I got lost in my past, or I got lost in my own story. Which, by the way, he didn't. Like, we don't even really know what happened. He, like, sort of kind of thought about it while smoking a cigarette, barely. Oops. So they go into another house. What we find is both heartbreaking and satisfying. Without knowing if her mother's father, Charlie's grandfather, had anything to do with any of this, we're left with nothing. On one hand, if he did, it would be appealing to see him hooked up to machines and receiving hospice care. On the other hand, if he was innocent in all this is a piece of Charlie's family that she'll never know. That's a really weird way to write that, but okay. So they start making their way downstairs. They're inside of they're inside a house that they have not been welcomed into, where an old man is hooked up to machines. He's apparently receiving hospice care, which means he's dying. If you're in hospice care, you're dying. We make our way downstairs only for Charlie to be suddenly jerked and she falls to the floor. That was her describing a gunshot, which is a weird way to describe a gunshot. I lift my gun and shoot him. Who? Who knows? In the same place she was shot, her shoulder. I quickly check on Charlie and she's fine. She's just fine? Okay. Mother, she yells at the man who we find out is her uncle, her mother's brother. When did we find that out? When are we going? When? He was next, so this is a 2-for-1, and with the events playing out in front of us, he won't be breathing when we leave here. What are we doing? Once she's taken care of, I drag this asshole down to the wine cellar, and Charlie follows behind us with nothing but rage blanketing her face. Charlie's POV. Not much shocks me in this world. I'm not really an optimist or a pessimist. I don't really do the glass half empty or half full. I choose option C. Break that fucking glass and empty that bitch yourself. Fuck.
I don't fit in.
My own fucking uncle just shot me. I can't help but wonder if he knows who I am. I'm sure he does. I look just like my mother. If you don't know if he knows who you are, then how do you know that this is your uncle? What the hell are you doing? I ask, and I received his obnoxious laughter in return. I'm protecting my investment, he replies. What exactly did you invest in? What is this conversation? What is happening? Did you enjoy your time in Oak Grove Asylum, he says. Nope. I'm not letting him see me yell and rant like a mad woman. Well, why did I have to deal with it? Why must I suffer and then this man doesn't have to? I want answers, and something tells me you have them. Talk. He just said, did you enjoy your time at Oak Grove Asylum? Of course he has answers. What do you mean something tells you? He just told you! He starts rambling information off. His pride went out after all. He just has to pour salt on the wound. He can't pass up a chance to take credit for the pain he's caused. Of course he couldn't resist. He may be in with the elite, but what do you know? Apparently class can't be bought after all. Your mother wasn't crazy. I mean, yeah, she had her issues, schizophrenia and a mood imbalance. Too bad she didn't notice me changing out her meds. He laughs. They're like torturing him, by the way. She was always the favorite. I overheard Dad talking about cutting me out of the will because some stupid bitch claimed I raped her. Lying ass. so I made sure Charlotte got sent away for good, but the old doc couldn't keep it in his pants. And we are told that she was hiding the pregnancy until she was close to giving birth, and then the doctor Whitmore locked her away and to take care of me, and once I started to walk and talk, they moved her back to the patient rooms and me along with her. Other employees knew not to ask questions. If the other employees knew not to ask questions, then why was she moved in the first place? So let me get this straight. You were jealous of my mom and wanted even more money than you already had. That's why you set my mother up for a life of misery and left us both to rot even after you found out about her having a daughter? That's what I said. Oh, okay. You're a gutter same as your mother, but she's gone, so no need to worry about her now. It says that her eyes snapped to Jack's. I can tell by that alone he knew she was dead. I want to rant and rave. I want to be furious with him, but I can't. I never said anything about saving her. I don't think he knows I didn't know she was dead already. And I'm like, we just went through a whole... Okay, no, it's fine. I may have some troubles with my emotions sometimes, but this one is clearly loss. Loss isn't an emotion. Loss is an experience. The word you were looking for was grief. She puts 2 bullets in the head of her own uncle. Jax looks at me as if he's surprised. I can see why I surprised myself too. In the next chapter, it just starts by saying, "You want proof? Here's your proof," Charlie says as she holds the test in front of her face. So because we have not set up that there are other people in the room outside of Jax and Charlie, it sounds like Charlotte is holding something in front of her own face, except she's not. She's holding it in front of the face of another woman. But this is so poorly written, you wouldn't know that. You have to figure it out later. A product of only to be locked away in a prison by my own sperm donor and left for whatever wolves came around to scrounge for fresh meat. I hope you enjoyed your fancy Ivy League bullshit and country club days because my disgusting uncle was the one funding your frivolous lifestyle. It only took me being whenever they pleased for you to live a life of luxury. You're welcome. Then it says Charlie lays it all out for them. So now we know there are other people in the room. Please just let us go. I had no idea about any of this, his wife begs as she cries. Now we're led to assume that this is Dr. Whitmore's wife. Her daughter crying just as much, if not harder. So it's not Dr. Whitmore and his wife in the room, it's Dr. Whitmore's daughter and wife in the room. Turns out Dr. Whitmore has been domestically abusing his wife. Anyway, Charlie says that they can pack their stuff and leave. Not Dr. Whitmore though, just the wife and daughter. She then hooks Dr. Whitmore up to a shock machine, and then in Charlie's POV, I'm not sure if he passed out from blood loss, electroshock therapy, or the pain itself, but he eventually did. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that's when he died. Shortly after I cut open his chest, I was hoping to hold his beating heart in the palm of my hand. Maybe in the next life. Look at that, Dad, you broke before me. And then they blow up the house. The house of my many horrors. And I'm like, wait, so were you held in that house? I thought you were held in the asylum basement. Anyway, 3 months later, they're laying in a graveyard. Here lies Charlie, it says, because they bought her a gravestone to commemorate the fact that she crawled out of a grave. Her grandfather's power of attorney contacted her to inform her that the estate is now hers. I have a sneaking suspicion Jax and the guys worked this out to land in my favor. I have no idea what to do with millions of dollars. The first thing I bought was a headstone to memorialize the grave I climbed out of, letting it represent rebirth. Wow, so cool. And then they boink on top of her fake grave. That's it, ride that baby. I love the way your fills me up. Oh my God, kill me. And then he arrives inside of her, leaving the substance in there, and then he sucks it out and then spits it in her mouth. I swallow a mixture of my cream and his seed down my throat together. You actually didn't need to say together because the word mixture was already used, and also that sentence is really gross. Maybe one of the guys can join us next time. You're a wicked woman, you know that? And then he throws her over his shoulder in a fireman's hold, smacks her on the ass, and then the last line of the book is, "Who's the wicked one now?" Wow. That really was a thing that had words, wasn't it? Good God. I just want to reiterate that this is a 13-pound cat. Does this look like a teacup multi-poo to you? You may go. Thank you for your service. I cannot believe that this is a thing that I read with my own eyeballs. I can't believe that this is a thing that people pay money for. I can't possibly understand how you could say this was edited. What do you mean? Like, there are so many misused words and things that don't make sense, and then randomly things would just pop into the story, like the teacup multi-poo, like the bat, like the people being in the room. What are we doing? I'm actually going to have to institute a ban. People are not allowed to write male love interest named Jax anymore. Every time that y'all do it, it's terrible, horrendous, horrible, the worst. So I think maybe if we just stop having the name Jax, maybe that will fix 20% of the problem. Did you just bite me? Ugh! You're banned from the channel. So what did we learn? Nothing. We didn't even learn how much a teacup multi-poo actually weighs. If you made it this far, I guess leave a teacup emoji for the teacup multi-poo that weighs the 15-pound teacup multi-poo. I think dark romance is a valid genre. I just think that this is a terrible book in a valid genre. There's terrible books in all genres. I think all genres are valid. I just think that this book sucks, but that doesn't mean every dark romance book sucks. You can write good books. You just need to figure out your 4 C's, get a quality editor, get quality beta readers, and Google how much teacup multi-poos weighs. And also not use 2 prepositions in the same sentence. And also, you know what, I don't even know what to say about the sex scene quickly, so I'm just gonna say ew. If you're wondering what is your taste in dark romance, since you know you are here shitting on it, I did really like Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. So I prefer that. All right, thanks so much for watching. Teacups, go down below. Comments and questions if you have them. I'm sure you have a lot of them. I certainly had a lot of questions. They're going unanswered, but I had them. And thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye. Say goodbye. Oh, look at the little teacup multi-poo, the 15-pound multi-poo. And before I go, I have to say thank you for being a friend. Therapyville's patrons, and those are Alexander, Andy, Ashley 8, Astra, Beck, Call Me Kodiak, Choco's Homesick for Taiwan, DJ Rocktopus, Ellie, Emerald Dodd, Eric, Jade L, John E, Jory, Julie D, K, Kai Brecker has not read Six of Crows, Kaleno K, Kelly K, Quinn, Lady Kittybug, Lady Chips, Lemon Jelly, Lex, Other Lex, Lily, Lisa L, Matter Raptor, Max B, Megwin Rose, Melissa, Mindy, Mixer Boneless, Not So Secretly a Skeleton, Peggy Luhu, Piloting SRN, Rain, Reese, SJ, Samar, Scarlet, Spoopy, Steph B, Super SMA Girl Lily, 3 Raccoons in a Trench Coat, Tori, Urchin Audrey, White Raven 13, and Zorvictia. Thank you all so much for being here and for being a friend. And a huge thank you to my potato starch Marxists, Adrian, Aaron, Alejandra, Ali Oxenfree, Althea, Amanda D, Angelica, Artie the Ninth, Ava, Barry B, Beck Lowe, Binging for Soup, Blue Moon Syrup, Bookish by Jenna, Bookish Rabbit, Bree, Bridget 108, Kate, Caitlin, Carlin, Carly, Casper, Kate W, Kath Cole, Colleen, Corwin, Cosmic Frog, Courtney, Darius, Danielle, Danita, Darren, Desiree Michelle, Dilf Enthusiast, Dorothea Supports Public Education, Draco-chan, Drive-By Thinker, Ebby, Emily A, Emma, Aaron with 2 E's, Erica May, Aaron Starlight, Gadarn, Hannah C, Helen P, Harassing, JM Tennant, Jackalope Max, Jay is on Olympus, Jelly V, Jen Michelle, Genderqueer, Jenny G, Jessie Ives, Jessa Sue, Jill, Jojo Bookish, Juicy Wizard, who I just met in person at BugNet Fest, and I was so excited. Caitlin M, Catherine, Katie, Katrina, Kayla, Kaylee, Kayala, Kendra, KMTB, Kayana, Laughing Cat Dog, Laura is Angry, Lauren G, Lazarus Ray, Lindsay M, LP, Luciri, Lustful Octopus, Martin, Macy Jane, Maddie, Madison, Man-Eating Plant, Megan, Malara, May, Mima Who, Morgan P, Myth Lesbian, Nicole G, Oxford, supporter, same, Paige P, Penelope, Penny Chilling, Foxglove, Pick a God and Pray, Plague Carrier, Pandemonium, Queen Cereal, Rachel B, Rebecca R, Ren, Flynn, Rhea, Ronnie, Rosie Thorns, Sikoria, Sadie, Saintbringer, Sakia Lume, Sarah H, Sarah the Bear, Shamed, Shannon, Sheen Onion, Sean, Sophie, Talia, That One Cute Chick, This Is Not a Trap, Tiana, Too Thick to Work to Get Today, Triple M, Tito Phoenix, Unicorn Jenny. Thank you all so much for being here and for being a friend.